Hey, we're here in Frisco. Actually, where Bailey and I had our first date right behind us at True Food.
Yeah, and today we were in McKinney with our client, Mary Beth, helping her find her first home. And today was her inspection. And we worked with Adrian Green, and he was amazing and pointed out some things for her to pay attention to.
It was really cool. Then her parents popped by. They actually,
future in-laws?
Yeah, future in-laws popped by. They directed us to the Adriatic in McKinney. It was really cool. It was like a little Italy. Absolutely amazing houses that look like they're from the Great Gatsby.
There were these villas that they had there. It was a mix of like apartments, townhomes, condos, and then there was these beautiful villas, and they were in a gated community, and they were between $800,000 and $1 million. And I think they ranged from like 2,000 square feet to up to
6,000 square feet.
Yeah, and we were kind of surprised by the HOA dues because it was actually only like
it wasn't that bad.
$500 a month to
plus and minus
like
a little bit.
$700 a month. So yeah, it was a really beautiful area. It looked a lot like Italy.
Yeah.
Cobblestone streets and just beautiful views and a little pond, if you will, I guess, in the middle. And it was really cool.
Yeah, what a cool day. And then had lunch at True Food, and we're waiting on our video from Adrian. He did the inspection, and here you go.
Yeah, we'll let him take it from here.
Hello, this is Adrian Butler with Green Scene Home Inspections. Present at this inspection was myself, the buyer, the buyer's agent. Before I begin, I need to explain that as home inspectors, we are governed by today's building standards. So some of the deficiencies I'm going to show you will be called as-built conditions, which just means in the past that item or component might have been built or installed correctly, but building standards change a lot, and I want to make you aware of the most recent things that I would recommend for you to focus on during your option period. Those will be identified in the report with pictures, primarily matters of safety, things that are broken, or conditions that could damage the house. And lastly, the state of Texas requires me to give you my opinion of the home as it stands today. That'll be the written report. These photos are just intended to be a summary of the inspection. So the first thing I do when I come up to the house is watch the water meter, and good news, no movement. So first hurdle has been accomplished. So this is also where you could shut off the water. It appears there's a secondary shutoff in the garage area. The water pressure is between 40 and 80, which is what I look for. So right around 70 PSI. And then I'm gonna start with your outside air condenser. It's a Train. It's basically brand new. It's a 2024, so that is good. It's 5 ton in size. You do have one unit, but 2 thermostats. Just remember that, because I'm going to come back to the thermostat issue in a second. Because you may have felt some temperature differences as you go into the bedroom versus downstairs and upstairs, and I think I know what's going on 90% of the way there, at least point you in the right direction. All right, here is your electrical panel. This all is kind of consistent with what I would expect to see. I push these buttons to make sure the safety mechanism is working. It is. Nothing in my report is what I wouldn't expect to see here, but electrical standards have changed. So my report's going to list 5 or 7 things that are not present, like, or that are not to the current standard, like a no surge protector, just kind of very normal stuff. Here's your water heater. It's a Bradford White, and it's a 2017, so it's also newer than the house. It's 50 gallon in size. There's a little bit of rust or corrosion here. This may have been on install when they were attaching the copper pipe to this stainless steel and doing the soldering. That's kind of what it looks like. But every year or so, I would just peek up here and see if anything is getting worse. The heat shield looks good. This is in the garage, so that's better than in an attic, but there's no pan. So if this water heater fails, water will start collecting on the attic floor. So if possible, I would get a pan installed that can drain to the exterior.
Or just add one of those little sensors,
Yes.
at least. No.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. Not your first rodeo. All right, so it looks like they had some kind of plumbing issue where they had to fix or repair this plumbing drain or a vent stack. And so there's several areas where they cut things out. I don't particularly have a problem with it other than it has holes in the drywall. And what that means is if there was a fire in the garage, it can get into the wall cavity and work its way up to the attic. So just making sure you cover these areas and properly tape and bed them would be my main concern from a safety standpoint. There's a fire suppression system here. You'll see these little circular discs on the ceiling. I think the previous property also had it. So just, I also recommend once a year going around the house, checking each of those discs and see if you see any water staining around them. Also, since this is part of an HOA, there may be something that the HOA requires you to service it, or maybe they service it. Just find out if the bylaws have any information about the fire suppression system. Garage door opener worked fine. It retracts. I did notice some water staining along the top of the garage door header. When I went over this with the thermal camera, I couldn't see anything that was a current moisture issue. I suspect that maybe when the home was built or something in the past, water had collected here, but it doesn't appear to be a current issue from anything that I can detect today. There was we call it a joint crack or a seam crack along the ceiling there in the garage. Very common, not too concerning, but I do take pictures of cracks. So now I'm going to go up into the attic. The ductwork mostly looks good. I'll come back to that. The insulation also mostly looks good. I'm going to come back to some of that as well. Because they did some remodeling in the kitchen and the bathroom, I can see some areas where some insulation was pushed to the side, and I'll point those specific areas out. The thermal imaging really showed that better than what I'm seeing here in the attic space. Okay, also, I don't know if you recall, the last property had this fire separation from one unit to the next, and this one has the same thing, which is what I look for. This one also has it where it comes out horizontally 4 feet, which usually does not happen. However, there's a spot that has fallen down, and that is sitting right here. And it took me clear till the end of the inspection to realize this is why the bedroom is not getting cool or heating properly, because this is cutting off, it's compressing the ductwork and not allowing it to get the air that it needs to properly blow. So anyways, I was going to move things around, but I just don't want to tear or break things. So I just left it as is. But I think once you get that put back on, or someone does, the flow of the air will work much better in those bedrooms, specifically the bedroom bathroom. This is an area this is above the half bathroom where they had pushed the insulation to the side. So it's pretty much missing in some spots, 0 to maybe a couple inches there. And I'll point out a few more areas like that. I do have to mention these gas lines. This is a common year. Let's see, this home is, this is 1 year older than mine. Mine's a 2005, and I have this same thing that I'm going to describe, where these are the gas lines called corrugated stainless steel tubing. You don't have to remember that, but it has an acronym of CSST. And as a result, there's 2 things I look for when this is installed. One, that there are these shutoff valves right near this regulator, which they are. That is good. The next is this thing called a bonding wire, which is just a thick copper that should be attached here that bonds it. So if there was ever an electrical strike, the electricity doesn't follow along the gas tubing, but along the grounding wire or the bonding wire that takes it to the ground. So it's missing that grounding wire, and my report will have some attention drawn to that. When they replace the outside air condensing unit, they also replace the inside air handler or the attic air handler. I have operated thousands of these. I could not figure out how to get this filter door off. There's a little thing I was trying to pry on the top. I could kind of open the bottom portion. I feel like it's just operator error, and maybe there's a certain trick. I just don't know I just wanted to check the filter ultimately, and I couldn't. But this is where it would be replaced, and I spent about 10 minutes on it, and I'm like, I just don't know what to do. So I think that there's a simple way to do this, but I thought maybe they had locked this and it was going to be replaceable in the ceilings, but I came out and checked here, and that wasn't the case. And in fact, I don't even mind going back up and trying again. Sometimes with a fresh mind, it can work, or, I have better success. This is the flue. It's not touching any wood. This is my carbon monoxide detector. It's reading 0. And the pan. This all looks good. No issues here. So they did do this thing wrong. This is the gas line. What I'm specifically looking for is something called a sediment trap. So as gas flows to the unit, this little piece of pipe should be down so that any debris or little bits or flecks of metal would collect in this pipe. But because they have it vertical, the flecks are not, gravity is just going to pull those flecks down. So they just installed this upside down. Many homes don't even have that. It's a newer building standard, but since this was just installed, it's just not meeting my current standards that I look for. And I am going to show, I don't know if you can see all this stuff along the top here. There's lots of wires. This is part of the zoning system for the 2 thermostats, and something is not wired right, because when I adjust the thermostat in the bedroom, it produces cold air downstairs. They had the thermostat off downstairs. So since there are 2 thermostats, it would be nice to be able to control that. That's why it's so cold downstairs, because the ductwork has been compressed, making the master bedroom really hot. And so they've been running the air probably continuously. And that's why it was like 70 or 65 degrees or something downstairs when I came in, because it's just constantly running because it can't get the upstairs cool enough.
But you said on top of that, there's a concern with how the thermostat itself was wired.
Yes, I think what happens when I call for heat, for example, in the bedroom, it blows heat downstairs. They're not separated. So it's basically as if there was one unit, but you have all the wiring and all the stuff for it that you would want to be able to control those zones. So something is going on there, and I suspect it's just a wiring issue, although I'm going to recommend an HVAC company come and really diagnose and figure out what's going on there.
Since the unit's so new, it does have a warranty on it, so
Yeah,
you
that's
might
great.
be able to get them.
Yeah,
just-
I would totally think so. Even though the outside is covered by the HOA, this window, which is the front entrance area, I just wanted to point that there's some grout that's missing in some areas, and I just don't want water to get behind there, so you may want to mention that to the HOA. The heat itself, it was really hot in that room, and I mean, it was getting above 90, but even with compressed ductwork, it was getting the temperature marks, but definitely not when I was running the cooling. And I'll just go through those quickly. This is when I came downstairs, and I had turned off the upstairs, and when I checked the downstairs, I was like, wait, why is it not heating downstairs? And that's when I was connecting the dots that the thermostats are not communicating properly. I'm going to come around the inside of the house, check the floors. I'm going to start downstairs first, which overall we're fine. The garage entry door is supposed to have a self-closing hinge. It does not. It's common to not have it, but something I look for. The double doors leading to this bedroom, there's a little ball valve on top that is missing, so it just doesn't latch properly. Here's the bathroom. I'm going to go through the whole bathroom. Sink stopper did not hold water, but no plumbing drain leaks. Warm water coming out. I think my temperature gun was giving me issues because the water I felt with my hand was very hot. I'm guessing it's closer to 135 degrees. I've got to get myself a new gun because it just wasn't. It was reading warm, but it was warmer than normally. I can touch 120 and not be too concerned, but this was feeling quite warm. So depending on where you like it, you may want to adjust it down a little bit. Bathtub stopper is missing. They've just been using a temporary stopper there. Also, when I pull the diverter for the shower head, some water still flows through. But this shower head worked fine. I think with the previous one, we had issues with water pressure coming out, but this all looks good. There's little cracks in the grout here between the tile. Nothing major, but I'm gonna want to seal those up.
So is that new caulk or new grout?
There's caulking along the base of the tile. Oh, are you asking for the repair, what I would recommend?
Because I remember seeing that, and I thought it needed new caulk, but you think it might need
Oh,
some new grout.
the grout itself along the tiles is good. The corners usually, some people use grout, some use caulking. It just, whatever your preference is here. They are currently using caulking for the corners. Yeah, good question. The toilet itself flushed fine. And now, let's see, what is that? Oh, this bedroom, downstairs front corner bedroom. That door's not latching properly. I can close it, but I can pull it right open without twisting the handle. All right, now I'm going to come to the next bathroom upstairs. Primary bathroom here. Left sink stopper worked fine. No drain leaks. Right side stopper was good. Same for the bathtub. In fact, all the plumbing up here was good. I just had the same issue here. They were using grout in the corner here, and I just would seal that up so the water doesn't get back behind there. And then the toilet there flushed fine. Here's the half bathroom. The only issue I had was the stopper not working, not holding water very well, but otherwise everything very functional. So back to the front door. Gonna go around the walls and windows of the house. I also turn on the washer and dryer just to make sure that they have power, which they do. Didn't see any issues behind them. There's a tiny crack in the corner there right near this is the attic hatch there, so near the hallway upstairs. All right, I have to mention these windows in the primary bedroom that when they are within 18 inches of the floor, there's supposed to be a window limiting device where it doesn't open up more than 4 inches. The specific concern is a child falling off a second floor. So in 2006, we didn't care about it. We do now. Also, you have a broken window that's just behind me. It doesn't really show up well in this photo, but it's pretty obviously cracked there. Now I'm looking up at the ceiling. You do have a stress crack in the ceiling. This is downstairs in the downstairs living room area. I tried to connect it to anything else that might suggest any foundation concerns, which I don't particularly. This probably is some settling of the house, and overall not a lot of cracking inside. I took a picture of this. This is the downstairs living room. I think maybe they had some kind of bathtub shower issue. Maybe that's what prompted the remodel. I can tell that they've patched some of the area there, and just the texture and paint don't match exactly, so that's why you're seeing it. Nothing from the thermal imaging showed any specific concern. This light fixture, the fan works. I couldn't get the light to turn on. I pulled this pull handle, but just didn't turn on. The fireplace also, you can see here that the pilot light is lit. I flip on the switch, and usually that engages the gas to flow, and I thought maybe there's a remote somewhere. I looked around, I couldn't find it. I just don't know if there's obviously gas getting to it, but I don't know how to get it to fully engage, and I didn't take a picture of it, but down between the glass doors and the logs. There's a little spot there. I can see where there's an igniter button, but nothing to control the gas. So I'm just unsure how to get that to turn on. I'm gonna check the appliances in the kitchen. Dishwasher ran its cycle fine. Garbage disposal was good. Vent hood was working in light. You do have just a recirculating vent, and you have a gas cooktop. So what I would recommend is putting a carbon monoxide detector in the kitchen so that if someone ever accidentally left this on, you would be aware of that. The oven I set at 350. It's heating right at 350. And then this red light in the microwave is my sensor that lets me know it's working fine. Kitchen faucet and sprayer look good. No leaks, warm water coming out. And then I'm going to finish up with the thermal imaging. Because my device I don't feel like it's giving me an accurate temperature reading, I'm going to use my thermal camera when I go around and look at the registers, which I haven't done the last 2 times, just so that I can make sure that I can figure out how cold the air is coming out as the AC is running. But I'm also looking for water issues behind the washer and dryer. Here's an example, 50 degrees roughly is what's coming out of the register, so just keep those numbers in mind. Here is that spot that I could tell that they had patched in the past. I'm not seeing anything that suggests a water issue. This blue is just coming from the air register nearby. However, I do see some insulation missing here, which again, very consistent when remodels happen. Things get pushed to the side and never pulled back. Checking the water heater, that's good. The electrical panel's good. And the outside unit also within the marks that I look for. I did look next to the water heater to see if there was any kind of water issues around here. I'm not seeing any red flags there. And below the fire suppression system, as well as the garage door area. I can see the water stain, but nothing that says this is an active issue. We've had some pretty significant rain recently I've been doing this thermal camera a lot lately and been finding things from rains, but nothing today. More colder than 49 degrees in the middle bedroom downstairs. Initially, I thought there was some insulation missing here, but when I went inside the closet, there's just a light fixture there that's producing heat, and that's why you're seeing that. Checking around all the plumbing areas, things look good here. Just, again, 50 degrees is about the average of what I'm getting coming out here. There's the fireplace. Here's the return side. You can see the attic door has some areas where some insulation is uneven or inconsistent, but no plumbing leaks specifically. It does look like maybe some of the sidewall insulation here. There's some hot spots there. And then also this is in the primary bathroom here. Again, I feel like when they installed the light fixtures, they pushed insulation or removed it and never added it back. And then here I am in the bathroom. It's not blowing any cold air because of the drywall. It's compressing the ductwork. There was a hot spot here, and this may be I went into the closet here, and this might be the return air chase that may have some missing insulation or something going on there. It shows up on my thermal camera, but I'm not sure what's exactly going on. The kitchen area, I think I took a better picture. Oh, I did want to mention this. I opened up the dishwasher earlier, so this is water stains from that just splashing out from opening it, not from anything leaking actively today. When I looked up at the ceiling, this is an area where there's some obvious insulation missing along the light fixtures there. So I assume there was some large light here that took up that space, and they've changed the light fixtures now. Now I'm going upstairs, and then this is the point when I realized, oh, this is what's stopping and restricting the airflow. Well, I hadn't connected that earlier, but this is when I realized all the things and just wanted to take a picture of that. Okay, that's my last photo. I'm sure I don't know if you've been burdened with calls from our office, but if you do need any help connecting utilities, if this one all goes through, we have that as an option. A couple people in our office that will help do that for you. No cost, just there to be helpful. And then there's me. We're becoming fast friends. I'm on speed dial, it sounds like, but there's some office contact info in case you need it. And thanks for using Green Seat.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Take a few minutes. I gotta adjust the thermostats back.
Okay.
So if you change them, just know that I put them back to where the homeowner had them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then probably this afternoon we'll get the report.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should have it probably by 1:30 or something.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian.
In the future.
Yes, I know he went to the top of the list, I said. So the inspection went really good. We used Adrian, and he was amazing. He pointed out a couple of things, here and there, but overall it was a really strong inspection. And yeah, it was a good day. Her in-laws, or soon to be in-laws, ended up showing up. So she got to show them the house and her paint colors and ideas for furniture and all that fun stuff. So
It was a great experience all around.
yeah, and now we're at the Adriatica in McKinney. It's a little taste of Italy right here in the heart of Texas. It's really, really cool.
Hey, if you made it this far in the video, we really appreciate it. It means a lot. Please don't forget to like us
Love us.
and subscribe.
We'll see you in the next video.